Undermining the negative impact of primacy and supremacy, especially in the context of DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and access efforts, involves a multifaceted approach. It requires conscious, deliberate actions at individual, organizational, and societal levels. Here are some strategies. 1. Awareness and education. Individual level, encourage self-awareness and continuous learning about unconscious biases, the history of supremacy in various contexts, and the ways in which primacy can affect judgment and behavior. Organizational level, implement training programs focused on DEIA, unconscious bias, and cultural competency. Ensure that these programs are not one-off events but part of a continuous learning process. 2. Inclusive policies and practices. Review and revise, regularly review organizational policies, procedures, and practices to identify and eliminate elements that may inadvertently favor the status quo or disadvantage certain groups. Equitable structures, create structures and processes that promote equity. This can include equitable hiring practices, transparent promotion pathways, and fair compensation structures. 3. Representation and participation. Diverse voices, ensure that decision-making bodies, leadership positions, and influential roles within organizations are diverse and representative of the broader community. Inclusive decision-making, foster an environment where diverse perspectives are not only welcomed but actively sought out and considered in decision-making processes. 4. Critical examination of norms and standards. Challenge the default, question and critically examine the default norms and standards in your organization and society. Recognize how these may have been shaped by historical supremacy and may continue to marginalize certain groups. Broaden standards. Promote the acceptance and integration of diverse cultural norms, values, and practices. 5. Open dialogue and allyship. Encourage open dialogue, foster an environment where individuals can discuss issues related to primacy, supremacy, and their impact without fear of retribution. Active allyship. Encourage members of dominant groups to become allies who actively listen, learn, and use their privilege to advocate for change. 6. Accountability and continuous improvement. Measure and evaluate. Regularly measure the effectiveness of DEIA initiatives and be transparent about the findings. Use this data to drive continuous improvement. Hold leaders accountable. Ensure that leaders at all levels are accountable for promoting DEIA, challenging the status quo, and actively working to dismantle supremacy structures. 7. Community and societal engagement. Engage with the community. Work with community organizations, advocacy groups, and other stakeholders to understand broader societal issues related to supremacy and primacy. Policy advocacy. Advocate for policies and legislation that promote equity and justice at the local, national, and international levels. Undermining the negative impacts of primacy and supremacy is not a one-time effort, but a continuous process of growth, learning, and structural change. It requires commitment, courage, and collaboration across all levels of society.